Hello and welcome to the Claret and Blue podcast post-match reaction for Aston Villa's ninth win in a row in all competitions and sixth consecutive win in the Premier League as they run out 3-2 winners at the West Ham Olympic Bowl Stadium thing. I'm joined by Matt Lynch for this one and I'm very excited despite being a little bit under the weather. Matt, how's things?
Yeah, keep well, thank you. I think I've just said to you before, it's been a long time since I've been on, and a lot's changed in that time, and it's amazing how much has changed, hasn't it? So, yeah, no, good result and good to be back on.
Yeah, I think you were last on for the Sunderland game when it was a very, very different vibe amongst the comment section. Would you have believed me back then if I said I've just time travelled from the future and said we're actually third in a few months' time and on a massive winning run?
I'd probably believed you, to be honest, because it's Unai Emery. I would have believed you because Unai Emery's in charge, absolutely.
Aston Villa are cooking something up pretty special, I think, under Unai Emery. You said, Matt, just before we started, that you've got to rush down and put the oven on. What are you making? What's going on over there?
Everyone knows it's a Sunday and it's a roast chicken that's gone in, don't we? So,
Chicken,
yeah, got to
yes.
get it in, make sure we're in good time for this evening. So, yeah, and it's gone. And, yeah, nice crispy skin. Can't complain.
in it goes. The time is ticking. We're going to wrap up this podcast in the next hour and a half so you can get the chicken out. We'll do it in about 25 minutes. A fantastic result. And something I wanted to start actually about with you, Matt, was about our mentality as a team. Now, this is something that we spoke about a lot during the off season. The off season? That's very American. In the what do we call it? The close season in the summer. God, I've not been feeling well. I'll get that out there straight away. And the mentality of when it's a big game, a big occasion, it's easier for Villa to maybe crumble in those moments. Now, Villa are one of the form teams for winning back points from losing positions. When we went 1-0 down today, which we'll get into the specific goals, you still think there's a load of the game here for Villa to get back into it. To go behind again, and there's offside goals that aren't given for West Ham as well. This feels like we're kind of really up against it here. Against a poor team. Let's not make any bones about it. West Ham aren't very good, right? We had to win this game, and we did, and that's brilliant. But you can come a cropper in those games sometimes where they just have a bit of fight about them, and you go, we've been on such a great run, but it's going to come to an end at some point. Maybe it is today. But Villa, this new Aston Villa of 2025, after the first 5 games, somehow find a way just to keep on going.
I think I've come to expect it, and I wasn't worried one bit at any point during today's game that we were not going to get a result out of it because the quality opposition we're up against, but I think more to the point the way that United's in-game management is, and that starting 11 that came out today was arguably the weakest we've had all season in terms of a Premier League game, you'd argue, just with the injuries and general sort of the. Obviously, Martin starting over Dean, that's no slight on him. But in terms of like what you'd predict as your strongest 11, that is not our strongest 11 by a few players. But absolutely. So, yeah, I come to expect results like that today. And at no point was I ever worried. I don't think that West Ham really troubled us either, to be honest. I mean, the 2 goals they scored, which I'm sure we'll come on to, they're howlers on our part.
Yeah.
But actually, otherwise, I actually can't think of a save that Bizot's had to make all afternoon, to be honest. It's just one of those afternoons where I think we came out first half, wasn't great. Second half looked pretty okay, to be fair, pretty steady. But at no point did I ever think we were going to concede. I know we've conceded twice, but I didn't actually think we were going to concede apart from two of the errors.
Yeah, I think what's important there is, again, something we've spoken about before, that how often do we give away a goal where you just go, fair play, like we've been done there. I just think that was avoidable. And I know a lot of teams, every goal is an error on somebody's part, I guess. For the Rodgers goal, they'll be thinking, well, if somebody closes down, maybe he doesn't get a chance to pop one off. There's always something, right, for somebody to score. But the complete unavoidable kind of comedy goals of us, as you constant dilly-dallying on the ball, which we've seen him do plenty of times, and more often than not, he goes down for a really soft challenge and gets a free kick. But the ones where he doesn't, if West Ham are a good team, maybe they hold on to that 1-0 win and you've gifted them something 30 seconds in is so poor. But that's a sign again of Villa's mentality to go, okay, right, we know what West Ham are going to want to do here. They're going to want to sit in and defend it. And if that's 0-0 all the way through and they score on the 70th minute, you're in for a horrible 20 minutes to win the game. Villa probably know West Ham can't keep that up for an entire 90 minutes. So, all right, forget it up and get straight back into it as best you can. And obviously, our goal comes from an own goal, but Watkins still goes up to challenge it. It's a very the 2-1 at half time is all of those goals were avoidable and it should probably still be 0-0, really, is how I kind of felt about it from a mindset perspective. Villa are in control in open play during the game. This is Villa's game to go out and make their own, if you like. But that is not a good way to start a game by any means. And we've seen Conte do things like that before. You just have to hope that they're in the minority and come in games where Villa go on to win anyway. And we say, oh, doesn't really matter, right?
Yeah, I think that. And I think to be fair with the first one, as you say, you see him go down and get fouled there 9 times out of 10 in that position when that scenario plays out. But I think he's realised pretty quickly that he's one touch ahead of where he
He's
probably
just
wanted
took
to be.
an extra touch, hasn't he, on his wrong foot?
He's
Yeah.
taken the wrong touch too soon, well, too late, sorry. And by that point, it's Fernandes is in, it's 1-0 before you know it. I'm not going to sit here and bash him by any means. It's a mistake, it happens. But it's how you react and how you sort of go on from there. And actually, for the second half, he was very good. As were our defence generally, I think, in the second half, to be honest. And so in the first half, they didn't have much to deal with. There was just 2 calamitous moments in that. But I'm going to park it and not see too much in it, to be honest. Just one of those days. But the big thing, I think, the concern for will be the nature of the way we are conceding these sloppy goals. Because, as you say, I can rarely think of a circumstance this season where I turn around and go, well, fair play, we've been done by a fantastic goal there.
Yeah. In some ways, is that a good thing somehow? Like, if you're being done over by a good guy, you go, well, we couldn't actually do anything about that. If you're conceding sloppy goals, well, if you sort your concentration or your decision making or whatever, that's your ability then to make a difference and say, well, let's stop that from happening again.
Yeah, I think that's a fair point actually as well. I hadn't considered it that route around, but it makes total sense.
I'm clutching. Yeah. I don't like us conceding crap goals, but you can fix that, I guess.
No, I think that's it, isn't it? You can fix those situations where you are conceding the stupid goals. But equal as well, I don't think we'd probably expect West Ham to come out the way they did. By any means. Yeah. I don't think they were going to come out like that. I certainly didn't expect to come and press us from the first minute like that, to be honest, absolutely. And perhaps we didn't either.
No, possibly not. There's a comment from JM who says, "Where's Kendrick? Sad face." Well, if Kendrick was here, Matt Lynch wouldn't be here. If you've seen the channel at any point over the last few years, Matt rarely does the away games. We always bring in a guest to spice up the different opinions and whatnot. So, yeah, Matt Lynch is joining us today, and I'm very, very happy about that. Let's talk about. I've got the score in front of me here because it's an own goal. It's at the bottom of the list. Let's talk about that own goal then very quickly. It's a good ball in, isn't it? Was it McGinn? And Watkins, I thought it was his goal to begin with, but very clearly wasn't. You don't want to be like, oh, well, yeah, Watkins is just in the right positions and he forced the error. It's a lucky goal. And again, West Ham will feel that was avoidable, but it just gives Villa the impetus to think, okay, if we play our game here and keep doing things right, keep trying, something will come. And I think we feel like that as fans as well, perhaps, There's no period really where I've watched a game over the last few weeks, despite us not playing well in some of them, and thought, there will be one and somebody will correct me in the comments, but I haven't thought, we're in real trouble here. We're second best in this game. More often than not, we do have control over things. And that will come to an end at some point, but I know we've got Man United next week and everyone will say, well, it'll be that one, but I kind of can't see where it is going to come to an end because it's just now like soaring confidence.
Yeah, it is. This is genuinely our trickiest period of the season, for sure, from what you'll November till the end of December into early January stretch. I mean, Forest at home wraps up, obviously, Christmas into the new year at that point. But I look at it and go, if we can pull away, I'd like to. It sounds ridiculous to say this, but unbeaten from facing Chelsea, Man United, and Arsenal.
That'd be good, wouldn't it?
You go into the new year with every chance that we are right in the mix for a title charge, which is, I would have said a hyperbole a few weeks ago, but I don't think it is in this moment in time. You see the way Arsenal played last night. We've obviously City have gone and beaten Palace comfortably today, but I look at it and go, actually, you come out of this period and find Vettel. I mean, I'd have actually taken a point today. I mean, off the back of playing in Basel on Thursday night, I'd have probably taken a point today in truth. But I think that we've come to expect a lot more of them now than just a point away from home.
I think what's interesting is there have been games on this run where Villa of years gone by, it probably does end out as a point. This probably does finish 2-2. There are other games that I don't know off the top of my head now in this run where you probably think a draw. A draw there would have been okay. But Villa found a way to go and get the winner out of something. And I think that does come down to mentality and confidence of, we know, lads, if we work together here and stick at it and fresh legs after 70 minutes, we will have another chance or 2 or 3 to go and find that winner. And us getting points from losing positions is not a coincidence. Now, we gift goals and go down early in games sometimes, so you have to fight back from that if you're going to win, obviously. But if you do feel like, okay, Villa have gone down, well, all right, they'll score probably at some point. And then if they score, they'll get their confidence going and they'll get themselves ticking through. And it just feels very professional. I think is a good way of describing it. Like you mentioned, the team. Probably would like Dean in there for some games. Powell is obviously a huge miss. Martinez is not as good as Bizot is not as good as Martinez. Martinez and Powell is a big change to your back line. So you want the best options available. And I'd kind of shout out to Lindelof, I suppose. And this is only a couple of games, but I thought he was good in Europe in midweek. Good again today as well. And I don't know whether it was the last time you were on or not, but one of the times you were on for the transfer deadline day live stream that we did, Lindelof was the kind of the written in the margin, wasn't he, of that day? It was Sancho and Elliott. Oh, that's kind of say that, Lindelof as well. Yeah, well, whatever. Probably won't see much of him. He's probably been the best business of the three, to be perfectly honest, and looks like a really good addition. That I'm not suggesting he's Pau Torres, because he's not as good as him, but he's playing in a way that is, steady and done a job and been really reliable. So fair play to him.
Yeah, I mean, if you put him at a fullback, I'm not expecting him to rip up.
No, I wouldn't want to see him at right back too often.
No, exactly. And we have seen that, by the way, this season. But when you put him at centre half, I think he's a solid enough professional defender that he'll always do a job for you. Yeah. And there was the one error, just before we scored, actually. But we recovered really well to win the ball back, and I think we broke off the back of it, actually. Which is great to see. And obviously he played his part in the winning goal as well, but generally a really solid professional. And actually, if anything, it's good to have somebody with that level of experience at an international stage and in the squad. And to have to turn to that is a huge thing for Unai, because if you look at it, back end of last season, Unai brought in Disasi. And Disasi is now playing for the under-21s for Chelsea, and it wasn't great at all for us. So to have a solid backup in the nature of Lindelof is a credit to our recruitment, I think, because to me, you look at it and go, actually, probably did. Well, the fact that nobody picked him up before deadline day seems a bit crazy to me.
It did just feel a bit like it fills a gap. And it still is a bit of that, but he's stepped into the shoes of Pau Torres pretty comfortably in a couple of games. So, big shout out to him for that. Just before we started this, I had to pop out to pick up my wife and son from a thing they'd been to, and Sweet Caroline was on in the car, and it just felt like complete poetic timing of I know we don't play it after games anymore, we've kind of moved past it, but I got in the car, pulled out of my road, and Sweet Caroline come on. I was like, this Villa win, Sweet Caroline. What a moment this is. It reminds me of the Dean Smith days. And that game as well, I always associate West Ham Villa at their place with the survival one of July 2020. And I know we talk about how Villa have changed from the start of this season to now. Where Villa were from 4 or 5 years ago to where they are now, it's night and day. And I just can't quite wrap my head around it sometimes of just what we've done over the last few years, that we're not looking at Sunderland and Newcastle today as Villa are down in somewhere. It's a poor example because Sunderland are doing well, but you know what I mean? A newly promoted team winning, you kind of go, that's usually a bad thing. But do you know what I mean? We just look at things totally differently now. It's just, do you know what I'm trying to say? The way that we follow the club is just different.
I do, and I think actually there's been a transformation since even probably May. I know we had a dreadful start to the season, but I think is that famous Alex Ferguson quote about when we got thumped by Newcastle on the first day a few years ago, and we went on the season to qualify for the Champions League.
No one was thinking that at the start of this season, though.
No, but I think you can draw parallels between the two in terms of the way we started and where we ended up. And you can say, let's talk about Unai and the backroom team and all that. But I think what it boils down to is that this squad has been so closely knit together now for 3 or 4 years overall. They know when the going gets tough how to get out of these holes. And I think that they've experienced a lot of disappointment, I would say, in the last 24 months.
Do you think the start of the season... Do you think the start of the season is, and again, this is much easier to say in hindsight to know now that we're good, but that was a chance to maybe reset some things at Bodymore or give people a kick up the arse maybe of we've had a great run for 2 years now, pretty much. It's been a meteoric rise from nowhere to somewhere. The start of the season was terrible for whatever reason. Did we have to kind of maybe go through that to get what we've got now? It's a little bit like, you have to have Steven Gerrard post Dean Smith to unlock Unai Emery later down the line. Did we have to be crap at the start of this season to find another gear to be good again? Or am I just completely making something up there?
No, I get where you're going with that. I think there's a few factors. All you have to do is read into the players' reactions when Jacob Ramsey left the club. It seemed like the club was on its haunches and in the doldrums. Come the 1st of September, it felt like a lot of the players felt hard done by the decision that was made, obviously, at Man United when the goal was disallowed. And it felt like
Yeah.
that had overhung into the start of the season. And then you compound that with all the talk in the back end of the window in the media about how we've conducted our transfer business and how it's gone. You see Jacob Ramsey leave, you see the reactions from some of the players into Ramsey leaving, and you go, you can probably see where that's sort of seeped in from that sense. And it's how the Villa management team has stamped that out and got into them. And really sort of got us firing again, I think. And there's a few facts in that as well, though. You look at it, Rodgers started the season out of form. Watkins did. I mean, the whole team was out of form, realistically. So it was always going to come good eventually because there's too many good players in there for that to happen. But I think we've evolved so well that now trusts a bigger circle of players to make an impact. I know it's still obviously off bounds in terms of Elliott being in that list of people he trusts, but there's now, I'd probably say, 15, 16 players that probably trusts enough to put into that team or bring on to make an impact as well.
Yeah, because even going back into last season, Marlon wasn't hardly getting any minutes at all. Obviously, Buendia wasn't with us, and we all thought maybe we'd gone past him. And those two players now have been pretty crucial, I guess, from this run as well. There's a comment from CMT that says Emery says Pau is out for 2 weeks, so therefore Lindelof will play against Man United, ironically, which brings me on for a nice little segue for you, Matt. 3 games left in 2025. Manchester United at home, Chelsea away, Arsenal away. The chance to do the double over Arsenal to round out the year is that's very tantalising. How many points are we going to get from those 3, and where will we be come the start of 2026 in terms of the league?
I'd sort of alluded to the idea of going the rest of this year unbeaten.
Yeah,
and I'm
3 draws.
Yeah, no, I'm going 7 points. I'd take
7 points.
I think there's 7 points on the table there. I think we beat United.
You started on the Christmas wine as well, have you? 7.
No,
you genuinely think we'll get 7 points?
Absolutely, yeah, no doubt. And I'd put my money where my mouth is for that one. Absolutely, I think we take 7 points from the next 3 games. What that makeup of those 7 points looks like, I don't know. I think that's probably a point away for realistic at Arsenal, and then a win at Chelsea and a win at against Man United at home. The reason why I say that
is that going on Twitter, by the way. This is clipped up for sure.
How else can you look at it though after this run of form to turn around and say that you don't believe the fact we'll take 7 points from those games?
I know, and it's mad, and it's kind of that you've got to kind of readjust your expectations a bit as it goes on, because I just can't help but feeling, and I'll keep saying it till it happens, and I'm sure everyone's secretly thinking it, whether they'll say it or not. Villa don't do this. They don't win 8 in a row, 9 in a row, 10 in a row. It just doesn't happen. I said before, I don't know whether we said it, whether we noted it down. I think the record top flight wins in the old First Division, according to commentary, was 7 in a row, which was under Graham Taylor in 89-90 or 88-89, I can't quite remember. Villa are on 6 Premier League wins in a row now. So Man United, if we were to beat them, gets it to 7 and matches that record. To beat Chelsea would create a new record, I think, and make it 8 and be a winning streak across all competitions of 11 before your draw then at the Emirates. But then I'll be thinking, we've won 11 in a row. Why can't we make it 12? Do you know what I mean? Like, you kind of have to keep readjusting. And I do think this run will come to an end at some point, because it just simply has to. Villa are not going to win every single game from now to the end of the season as much. I mean, if they do, fair play to them. But it will come to an end at some stage. Now, obviously, I want it to go for as long as possible. 7 points, though, from the next 3 would be absolutely huge.
Maybe I've gone out of my haunches a bit there. And
there's a chance to be top there, no? If you got 7 points?
No, I'd caveat that with I think Man City are finding their gears, personally. And in answer to your question about where we're going to be in the league come the new year, we won't be top. I'd tell that for free. Just because I think Man City are finding gears that we haven't seen. I mean, Arsenal hit and miss at the moment. I know they won midweek against Bruges, but at the end of the day, though, we went and beat Bruges as well. And at either side of that, they've obviously lost to us and then salvaged a win against Wolves out of nowhere. So realistically, I think that Arsenal are in a little bit of a tricky patch, seemingly. But Man City, I think, are my real worry. But it's ridiculous to even say that at this moment in time, isn't it? I'd be happy to just see us finish in the top 5, to be honest with you.
So would
Um,
I.
Absolutely, I wouldn't take anything else. But I feel high on the idea that we can keep
Mate,
this going and take it
I
further.
absolutely love it.
But
Yeah, absolutely. If you can't kind of get overexcited, then what's the point of the whole thing? I just want to flash up the league table quickly for those that are watching. I've got the top 9 there because of just the way it displays on here. Arsenal top 36 points, Manchester City second with 34, Villa third with 33. And the thing is that we've spoken about a few times about title challenge or whatever. We're 3 points off the top still. Goal difference is still not as good as those around us. Chelsea's second worst of the top 4 with 12, ours is 8, quite some way behind Man City and Arsenal. So in some ways that is a bit of an indicator of how a club is getting on, although I'm not going to go with the unpredictable, the very predictable XG chat of, Villa were lucky and they're overperforming and all that. Forget it, you're getting points, fair play, that's all. That's the main thing. I don't care how they come. We're the only team in that period there that you can see that have won 5 games in a row. We're the only team with 5 green dots next to our name. But the thing for me is, and I don't know whether this is defeatist or not, it's looking over our shoulder. Look at Chelsea in 4th. They're 5 points behind. It's 5 points now just to the team behind us, right? If it becomes a top 5, Palace on 26 in 5th. Villa 33. And I know things can change very quickly. If Chelsea were to beat us, obviously that gap would close because it's a 6-pointer. We play Arsenal as well. Man United, if they were to beat us, they go 28, although we'd still be 33. So, do you know what I mean? It can change very quickly. But I'm not that bothered about looking ahead to what are Manchester City up to or how many points are we off Arsenal. I want that gap to Chelsea to be as big as possible. I want us to be able to lose a couple of games and not go any lower than 3rd and always be up and around 3rd or 4th all season. So that if there is a drop off in form, or let's have it right, when there is a drop off in form, and that only might be a game or 2, you're not going to get leapfrogged. And it's like, we were 3rd for all that time and now we're back down to 4th. Okay, well, if you've got a big enough points gap and you lose a game, you're still 3rd. There's still the opportunity to just keep building up a gap to those behind you.
Yeah, and I mean, if you look at that realistically as well, but there's some big games in there for the teams as well. Chelsea and Newcastle is huge for us. I think personally that's the biggest one of next weekend to look out for. But the big thing for me actually is that I think we forget that Cole Palmer's coming back to fitness. I must admit I forgot that when I was predicting a win away at Chelsea. But equally as well though, we have gone there to Chelsea in recent years and won. But when you look at the table, we've built that buffer and we've deserved that right to build that buffer. But the one thing I worry about is getting stung on goal difference, because I think last year, I think that you and John a few times had talked about, it's never going to come down to goal difference, and it did. I hate to bring that up, but we don't want that scenario to pan out again, whereby that happens, whereby we
100%.
are in that position, and where does that come back to at the moment? I don't think we're still scoring enough goals. Ironically, we've come off the back of some really good results where we've scored a fair few goals, but realistically, it's the defensive frailties that are my concern at the moment. And in terms of a squad depth as well, to keep that buffer, I think it's defensively where we are flying a little bit light at the moment.
It's coming from Z, the Man United fan who remember from anyone who watched last year will remember Z in our comments, who says, Man United win tomorrow, they go 5th, get it right. Lol. Yeah, fair enough. I actually forgot they were playing on the Monday Night Football. They played Bournemouth at home. So if they were to win, they're obviously 3 points close to us, and then we play them next week. So yeah, fair enough, actually. Let's talk about Morgan Rogers, shall we? Morgan Rogers double makes it 9 wins in a row for Aston Villa is the title of this episode. The winning goal is unbelievable. And as soon as he gets the ball in and turns, you think there's space there. Like there's a bit of space there to open or have a shot, because it's kind of free kick territory, isn't it? You've got space, you've got time to go and do something and get a bit of dip on the ball from here. He's just a brilliant player, isn't he? And again, going back to your last appearance of Villa in a relegation trouble, as you know, we're taking us as far as he can. Is Morgan Rogers actually a championship player? No, he's just going through a bad period like the rest of the team. He's very, very good, and he's now winning us matches.
Do you remember that trend of Barclaysman over the summer or probably earlier this year? I feel like Morgan Rogers must have just sat at home on his phone scrolling through TikTok, watching videos of Barclaysman, like your Morgan.
He thinks I want to be one of them.
World and your Pedro Mendez's and striking them from a distance, because I don't know what it is, but I can't think of a player that's sort of on this level of form, but doing the things that he's doing at this moment in time.
Yeah.
If you think about it in recent times for Villa, I think he's surpassed Grealish at the moment in terms of the peak that he's hit whilst at the club. He's a different gravy to anything I've seen at Villa Park, and generally playing in the Villa shirt. And that strike's phenomenal. The technique is outrageous.
It's like
On
a free
that
kick,
strike,
isn't it?
it is. It's
Kind of the dip on
outrageous.
it.
It's such a good piece of skill, and having the locker. I mean, it's not necessarily in skill; it's technique. The technique that is, it's ridiculous. And I think I saw a video which was talking about Buendia recently and him striking the ball from sort of that part of the upper ankle. And it's the same as Rodgers, and it's, I think, all credit to Austin McPhee, the coach and staff, because it's not certainly a technique I think we saw from him last season, but it's clearly something that we've ascertained that those players, Rodgers in particular, is capable of and delivering on. And it's a superb strike for all the people, the XG warriors out there that are talking about, oh, we should be bottom 3 because of the XG and all of this. It's plainly ridiculous at this point to suggest that we can't keep doing that, because the caveat there is that, fair enough, yeah, what if teams do try and start blocking us off in those positions? Well, lo and behold, that creates space elsewhere. So
yeah, we found different ways to win. Is how I look at it.
I'm not too concerned about the idea with the scoring goals from distance and the XG is low, because as long as you're winning football matches, nobody can look at the XG chart at the end of the season to see where we finished on there, are they?
Oh, we won the league, but we were only 4th on XG. Oh no, like, do you know what I mean? It's completely irrelevant, isn't it? If you keep winning games, you'll get points. And it's just different ways, as you say. If you close Villa down because they like a shot from distance, well, that will create space and someone will run behind, and then you score from inside the box, and it's just a different way of winning the game. Now, there'll be a lot of kind of XG doubters. My dad is one of them. Fair enough, lots of people are. I get it. It kind of judges whether a team is performing well over the course of a period of time, whether they're making good chances. But you can score a scrappy goal. You can win a game by playing well, and it's an own goal that gets them is the winner. And you've not created great XG, but you've won the game. The opposition might miss a penalty. Well, the XG for penalties are very good, so it's not a single indicator of a team's performance or not. And I'm not a statistical, analytical person, but winning football matches is all I care about. I don't really care how it happens. I am interested in the mentality shift of, we didn't used to shoot from distance. We didn't shoot from outside the box. It was always about trying to almost create the perfect chance that if you take a shot from close range, there's a higher chance you'll score from those positions. So something's changed where they've started scoring a couple from outside the box, and maybe think, go on then, well, Matty Cash did it a few weeks ago, I'll have a go. Like, maybe it is just a personal thing in the moment of, the right way to play here is to pass off there and do this and try and create the perfect chance. But if I just hit one for me, I might score, so I'm going to go for it. And it's that kind of playing off instinct, that almost element of a Barclaysman of, go on then, I'm just going to shoot from 30 yards, why not? Because it might go in, and when it does, we'll go, oh, brilliant. So it's nice to me that we can find different ways to win, and we might score 2 goals from inside the box against Manchester United and win that way. Fine.
Versatility.
It's
versatility. It's versatility, isn't it? And I think that above all else, when you look at it, I think it's probably credit to Austin McPhee. And I know can say all we want about the other coaching team, what they do, but he's probably the one that's had to go into Unai's office on a Monday morning and say, look, I think we should be shooting more from outside the box, and here's why. And I heard an interview that Stephen Warnock did earlier this week, and he talked about how Villa use a TrackMan, which is basically like a golf simulator tool, which gives you stats on ball projection, ball speed, all those sorts of things. And it's pretty clear that they're using that to the advantage at the moment through set pieces and generally from striking outside the box. And just by the nature of the players that are having to go from outside the box, are probably hazard a guess on that as well. I mean, Marlon, when he came on, had that shot from just outside the box and stung the keeper's hands as well, which was a great hit. So it's pretty clear that there's method to it. It's not just let's have a pop because we're 25 yards out, but there's clearly a lot of data behind that's telling the Villa team that actually we can afford to have a pop from goal here and see what happens. Because if you think about it, there's a lot of top keepers in the league, but how many top keepers actually parry those chances when they're coming into them as well, rather than actually necessarily tip them over the bar or whatever? Probably a fair few of them if you look at it on that basis. So actually, there's probably some data in there that tells you actually, out of your 10 shots, this is all fag packet numbers here, by the way, but at your 10 shots, actually, a few of them are going to get put into the danger zone where your Watkins or your Buendias are going to be following in on it. So there's probably more to it than just, let's have a go from 25 yards out, because I saw Cash scored the other week.
People asking about man of the match. I'm not going to play the little file because I need to re-record it, but Rodgers would be the one. He's won us the game. He scored twice. Just quickly, on his first goal, it's a great ball in by Tielemans. Rodgers has the touch to control it, gives himself loads of time to strike from 8 yards out or wherever it was, and good timing as well. start of the second half, and you get that sense that we do as fans of, okay, we're back in this, we're fine, we go again, it's level again, you got a whole half to try and go and find the winner. So Rodgers would be my kind of number one. I genuinely think Lindelof deserves a shout. I think he actually gets the assist for the winning goal. He puts it into Rodgers, which isn't really an assist, but they all count. So I'd have Lindelof in as a bit of a kind of a fair play tap on the back shout of, you've come in and filled in and done really well. Who would your third choice be?
It's a good question, actually.
What John's player ratings are. It's not one of those games where there isn't like a massive standout elsewhere. I don't think. Might be overlooking somebody. Tielemans?
I was going to put Tielemans in there. McGinn was industrious, as you'd sort of anticipate. I didn't necessarily think that our fullbacks set the world light today, so I wouldn't put those in the mix, because I think West Ham probably restricts them quite well, to be fair. Yeah. So if you put Tielemans in the mix, absolutely. I don't think you dispute that. Same with Kamara as well. I think generally, though, our central three as such were very good today anyway. So I don't see... You can't any of those three pop them in there quite happily, I think, to be honest.
Somebody in the comments says Martin Odegaard fan of the match. Good reference, I like it. John's player ratings has Morgan Rodgers as the man of the match with a 9, Youri Tielemans with an 8, and McGinn, Onana and Lindelof all got 7s. So all players that we've just mentioned. Yeah. So you, me and John Townley on the same page at least. Marlon, 7 as well. Right, I think that probably just about does us. Is there anything else, Matt, you want to discuss that we've forgotten to do?
No, I don't think so. No, I think, it's just a good performance, isn't it? And it's a gritty away performance. And the more we see performances like that, the better, to be honest.
Yeah. It's kind of becoming a little bit of a trademark of Villa to go behind and be in a game where they're suffering a little bit, but ultimately come out on top, and the rest of the league will look around and go, bloody hell, Villa won again. How's that happened? Just good, aren't we? Just a good team. A couple of plugs to end the show. I'll just put a comment in the comments, and I'll put it in the video once it goes as a video on demand. Tickets to our Claret and Blue live show, which is tomorrow, 5 o'clock, doors open at Hockley Social Club. We will take to the stage around 7:30, myself, Kendrick and Townley, doing a 30-minute kind of chit-chat about the season so far. We'll have a short break and then be joined by James Rushton, Ty Bracey and Dan Bardell to answer questions. It's the final show that we'll ever do at Hockley Social Club, as they are closing down at the end of December. So we thought we'd want to have one last send-off there. So tickets are still available. They are free. So if you want to come, please do. I've had a couple of people ask about under 18s. There was a hard curfew of 9:30. So anyone under 18 will have to be off the premises by then. But we expect the show to be finished just after 9 anyway. Although for those that aren't on a curfew, that's when we'll have a bit of a mingle. And I don't hate saying meet and greets. We're not that kind of podcast at all. But if you want to come and have a chat off the stage of the show, we will hang around at the end and have a beer and stuff. So that's the time to catch us. So it's like we're doing like autograph signings and stuff. And you know what I'm trying to say. One final... Bardell would love it, to be fair. One final plug is for the mailbag. The link for that is also in the comments down below in the description. Myself and Rob Warner, another guest, are doing the Q&A. We might be recording tonight, possibly tomorrow morning. So get your comments in the mailbag ASAP. Even not about West Ham, different topics as well. Maybe some kit-related things with Rob being on specifically. Get in the mailbag, send in your questions, and we'll answer as many as we can for tomorrow's episode. I'm still editing away on the Christmas special, hence the Christmas hat. And there's a few other little bits and pieces that we're excited about as well that will be coming out before Christmas. But I can't say any more than that for now. Right, Matt, thank you very much for joining me. Go and get that chicken out of the oven. Enjoy the rest of your Sunday evening. Thank you everyone for watching along live on the Claret and Blue podcast or on catch up after we've did it live. I'm going to go blow my nose properly, speak to you another time. Hopefully I'll be better for tomorrow. Get involved with all the different bits and pieces, and we'll see you again very soon. Bye-bye.